I thought we'd start this off a little different with something completely unrelated to the videos that I'm just amused by right now. I've been trying to get a banjo for quite a few years, and I finally found one at the thrift store a little bit over a week ago. I've been slowly getting it fixed up because it was not in good shape. The bridge was trashed, the strings were mostly missing, the fifth peg was gone. So I've been doing a lot of work on it. I finally got it finished to this state about noon yesterday, so I've been enjoying that. I did get it with the back. If you know anything about banjos, I just took it off because I prefer the open sound. But yeah, I've been trying to get one of these for a few years, and I'm just kind of happy to finally have one, so I can finally learn to play one. Still getting the hang of it, but you know, I'll get there eventually. I do have finger picks, but I bought the plastic ones and they're garbage. I hate them. So I need to get some metal ones. Those are way, way better. But for now, let's get back to stuff that's actually related to videos. It's been a while since I did one of these. I don't really count the LTX behind the scenes one because that wasn't really just a standard backer video, so I figured I'd do another one of these. Although that was still a month or two ago now. It's been a while since LTX. That was all encompassing for me for months. Sorry if I'm kind of looking down away from the camera. I have a monitor there so I could see stuff, especially for the framing of the banjo. That was not the easiest thing. Anyway, I got notes. I can start going over stuff. So, yeah, I just about wrapped up Septandy now. I was really, really struggling to get another video done for that because I didn't want the video I just released today to be the main video for this week, but the Model 1 expansion interface cable video just kind of ended up being that because I ran into a lot of issues with my next video, but I'll talk to that in a second. Well, it's not going to be the next video. That's part of the problem. But anyway, Septandy was a lot of fun doing the collaboration with the other channels, Adrian Black, Dave Just Dave, and of course Mr. Lurch, who tried to put this all together. So it was a lot of fun working with them on this. It was a bit constraining, though, being restricted to just Tandy Radio Shack videos for a whole month. I had a lot of good ideas that I just wasn't able to do because I was doing Tandy stuff for this month. So, thanks, eBay. So next time I will probably not hold myself to just, well, next year, I suppose, I'll probably not hold myself to just the Tandy videos, or maybe just do one. I'm not sure. But for doing videos regularly, that was kind of an impediment. So, yeah, it was enjoyable, though. So, the last video I wanted to do for Septandy, obviously, is Tandy related. And that is my TRS-80 Model 4. Now, I said in the DT1 video, I don't have one. That's because I didn't. I just got it, like, days before I put out the DT1 video, which I had been sitting on that footage for about a month. So, that took a while. But I'm really, really excited to get the Model 4 working. It's just not. Well, it kind of is. I'll shoot some video after I do this of the Model 4. So what it is I had to do a lot on this. I didn't film everything, so I'm kind of going to have to go back and do like a repair summary. But the solder points for the main power supply connector were all cracked, so power wasn't getting through. Then there was a fuse missing on the CRT board. I replaced that and immediately blew it, so I knew there was something wrong. Turned out C401 on the CRT board was shorted, so I had to go replace that, which is a side note. I went to Fry's Electronics, which is starting to look pretty dismal, and it was just after a torrential rainstorm here, and their whole building was flooding. The roof was leaking, so they had like buckets sitting around. It was weird. I took a single picture, but yeah, I couldn't have taken any more. So I was actually able to get the capacitor there. It was the strangest, best customer service experience I've ever had at Fry's Electronics because they were holding people in the front area, and you just tell them what you wanted, and they would go and get it for you and bring it back. It was strange. But anyway, I replaced that capacitor. Then the computer fired up. I can't remember if I had to jiggle some cables. Like, I think the CRT cable might have been a bit corroded and wasn't working well, and Anyway, the state that it's in right now is that it boots into BASIC, but it does it without even trying to use the floppy drives. Now, I didn't get it with floppy drives, but it has the floppy controller and cable, etc. So I'm trying to put a Tandem TM100 from a 5150 in there, and that's proving to be rather difficult. So today I'm going to be doing my last ditch hope of making that work by remaking the cable that goes inside the Model 4 with one that has all of the pins, because I posted for help on the VCF forums, and the best advice I got was that potentially I needed a cable that has all the pins for the tandem drives. They're kind of weird. They're double-sided. The original ones of the Model 4 weren't, so the original ones are really hard to track down. But I'm very much concerned that my floppy controller is just going to prove to be bad. So tracking that down is going to suck, and also so is diagnosing it officially as that. I'm going to have to break out a logic analyzer and go over that. I don't know if that would be a good video on its own, just going, here's why this thing's broken. I know I've done that in the past, but I don't really like those videos. Like the, it's always been Unisonic calculators, hasn't it? The Blackjack calculator, that one I ended up trying to go back and fix, even after the diagnosis video. That didn't work out too well. So anyway, the Model 4 might take a long time if the floppy disk controller is bad, because those parts aren't readily available. So anyway, unless I get lucky and it's like one chip that I can just find that chip and then rework the board. So for people who know Model 4 stuff, obviously you will know that it's not a gate array. It's a late model gate array, I think 264069. I don't remember, but I think it's the last model before the gate array, or if they were on sale at the same time ever, I can't remember, then it would be the one that wasn't the gate array. It's got the T-shaped arrow keys, which is nice, instead of being split over the keyboard. Anyway, I actually got that at the same time as my Model 1. It was the same deal. We bought them both at once, which was really, really cool getting that Model 1. Because that Model 1 that I got now means that I have a Commodore PET, an Apple II, and the Model 1. The Apple II is pretty wrong, and the PET's the newer version of the PET, obviously, not the 2001. And honestly, the Model 1 is actually the newer version that has a numpad. So yeah, none of them are really original, but they're all very close approximations of the original 3 computers released in 1977 for the home market. And it might be fun to do a video comparing them, because after I've been using it a bit, I'm starting to feel like the Model 1 was the best, and it was the cheapest. So that's kind of cool. But the Apple II, I really haven't put that much time into, so it might come out ahead. I don't know. I need to play more with the Apple II as an Apple II, not as an Apple IIe, which is what that one actually is. Alright, let's see. This whole space I've been filming in for a while now is absolutely destroyed after LTX, even still. Like I said, I sat on the DT1 footage for about a month, and I had that to come back to, and well, obviously that was shot after LTX because I said I got it from Canada, but that was about the only video I'd shot after Canada. The Model 1 expansion interface cable video was very easy to shoot. Just anyway, this whole area hasn't been well organized because I had all of my computer stuff set up in here one after another, and I just left a wake of mess. So I've been trying to get this space cleaned back up a bit so I could get back to filming like normal. So that's part of why there's been an inconsistent release schedule with videos. Well, at least it feels like it to me recently. So yeah, I'm getting really close though. So I'm hoping to be right back on track in a little bit here. So yeah, that, let's see. Yeah, there was another thing about LTX. The month leading up to LTX, I don't know if I talked about this in the video after that. I'd done double videos that month. See, that was so I had as much money as possible when I was gone, just because I wasn't sure what was going to happen while I was out of the country, because I'd never been out of the country before, so that was all a new experience for me. So I did double videos, and then nearly for a whole month I had no videos, which was really, really dumb to do. If I were smart, I would have just not tried to make up the money, held on to the double videos, and then released those while I was gone and back and recovering, because my channel growth just died after I got back from LTX, because I had no videos for so long, because I was getting everything back and organized, and just, well, I was in Canada, so Yeah, the the channel did really bad after LTX. So that's part of why I did the sponsorship thing with Skillshare, and I'm actually going to be doing at least 2 more of those. Now that I've done one, I've kind of broken the ice on it. So I have one that's coming up I know people aren't going to like. I just signed a contract to do a NordVPN one. Now, I'm going to try and do this very differently. Rather than just talk about the product on its own, I thought it'd be fun to give a live demo of the product actually doing something. So I'm going to use a laptop that's been connected to a McDonald's Wi-Fi and have a Raspberry Pi powered off of a battery broadcast the same SSID and security settings, so the MacBook will automatically connect to it, and then I'll have the Raspberry Pi have a like phishing page for a Google login. So that'll, the MacBook without a VPN would just connect and display that page when you try to go to google.com through DNS rerouting, that kind of thing. And you would never know. HTTPS kind of muddies the waters there, but let's just pretend that doesn't exist for now. And whereas a VPN, it would only try and go through the VPN, so you'd be safe. So, because honestly, and this is part of why I did the NordVPN thing. I really don't use public Wi-Fi because I think that it's such a security risk. I mean, it's just as bad as going around plugging your phone into strange power cables you see lying around. It really is a bad idea from a security standpoint because you have no idea what's going on. A VPN helps for sure, but it doesn't protect you from everything. But if you really need internet on public Wi-Fi, a VPN is going to do really a lot, and that's just my personal opinion. So I feel like the NordVPN thing isn't just shilling. Hopefully people will see that. So yeah, and then the next one, I haven't really signed anything. This one's kind of weird ad hoc type thing, is PCBWay. I should have brought water in here. PCBWay wants to sponsor a video, or asked about sponsoring a video, and I said I had an idea for one, so I'm going to do a power supply for the Coleco Atom. And they will sponsor the video, and will provide boards for that, and that's going to be a really good video because of that, because I'm going to get to make boards and demonstrate the product in person, so to me that's perfect, and it's like totally on brand with the channel, so I see that as a really good one. I'm looking forward to doing that video. I have to do whatever video the NordVPN one ends up being first. It's going to be on whatever the next video is. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing both of those, actually. It's weird, I'm kind of excited to do the sponsored segment for NordVPN because I'm looking forward to setting up the Raspberry Pi to do all the nasty DNS rerouting, phishing stuff. I've never played with any of that. I'm familiar with all the processes, but it's kind of interesting. Anyway, alright. Another thing. This one's controversial. People really don't like it. I want to change the channel name. Akabakuku is just brutal. So, when I was at LTX and VCF West, I had to walk around and talk to people non-stop. That was just what was going on. That was the whole point of being at both of those. And anytime anyone would ask me, oh, hey, what are you doing with the camera? And I'd say, I make YouTube videos. I'd say, oh, what's your channel? There would be this moment where I would realize I have to tell them my channel name is Akabakuku. They're going to look at me like I'm crazy. They're going to say, yeah, I know, I made it up. And then they're going to say, well, how do I find you? And I'll say, just give me your phone and I'll search it. Or I'll search it on my phone and then show them, because it's impossible to convey to someone how they could look it up on their own. It's spelled A-K-B-K-U-K-U. That's easy, right? No. So, I really think I should change the channel name. I know a lot of people don't want me to change a channel name, and there's some cool edge to having a totally weird name, but it's for brand recognition and searching and all that stuff. It's just such a bad name. So I've been toying around with a few ideas for names, and I hadn't really thought of any that I really liked or that weren't taken. But I think I got one now that I'm kind of interested in trying. I want to see, at least hear your guys' reaction. So a name I'm thinking about going with is Tech Tangents. Now somewhere over here, I'll have done the little intro animation that I came up with. Tech Tangents gives me a lot of flexibility because it's technical related, obviously, technology related. Weird computers, media equipment, whatever. It's not specific. And then Tangents is like a free and clear license to do videos about whatever I want. So it doesn't nail down the channel as anything in particular, but it also gives you a rough idea of what it's going to be about. So I think that's not bad. And both of those are words that people are going to know how to spell if I just tell them Tech Tangents. They can look that up and find the channel. So I'm thinking that might be a good one to go with. Now, I would start out by renaming the channel Tech Tangents by Akbakuku, just as in like an intermediary period. So that's a thought I have, have had for a long time. I've been thinking this since like 4,000 subscribers, I think. So I've been putting this off for way too long. I almost feel like I'm past the threshold where I can get away with changing it. But I really think I should very badly, just because this name sucks so much. So yeah. Just as an example, Parafractic used to be his channel name. You might now only know him as Retro Recipes. He did the same kind of thing, started out with Parafractic as his name. I don't know how to spell that. I could guess. I think I've guessed and got it right before. That one makes at least phonetic sense, unlike Akbakuku, which is totally made up. But anyway, he did a period, Parafractic's Retro Recipes, was an ownership of that, and then just shifted it to Retro Recipes. And that's how all of his branding is now. Like, a shirt is just mirrored ours, like a gateway to a big fancy mansion or something. So, people have done that kind of thing. It's not unusual to do that. So I've been putting off doing it, partly because every single idea I come up with is either taken or just not quite related enough to the channel. Like I had one, ideally I wanted Retro Rewind, but every newspaper ever or magazine or blog or website uses that too, so that's out the window. And then I thought, I'll just take retro and make it Techno Rewind. But that has music connotations, so that wasn't great. And then apparently one person said, oh yeah, there was a nightclub near me that was called Techno Rewind. I was like, well, fine. But one thing I've wanted is to be able to own the domain. And Techno Rewind, I was able to buy the domain for .com, which was nice. Tech Tangents, I cannot get the .com, but well, the monitor I was using for reference just fell down. Let's see if it's cracked. It's good. Let's see. Power will be popping up here. Nah, whatever. It's fine. Anyway, I can't get the .com for Tech Tangents, but I can get the .net and .org. So I'm thinking about just going with like .net, but honestly, I know enough from Minecraft's experiences that you don't want just a .net if you're going to be a big company. Well, it's not like this channel's ever going to be a big company, but I want it to be searchable, so I don't know. The .com is not quite parked, but it is registered, so I don't know, maybe I could get it later. I don't know. There are other domains that I've wanted for a long time, but I haven't been able to buy because they keep renewing them and leaving them parked. Anyway, so that's just the thought. I would love to know what you guys think of the channel name Tech Tangents. I think that could really work. So I really badly want to change the channel name because this name sucks so much. Like, I can't help but wonder, like, how much am I missing out on because people see the name Akbakuku and it's stupid. I know people have told me, like, oh, I thought the channel was about something entirely different with that weird name. So yeah, it's a really bad image to have. Anyway, I thought before I would wrap this up, this is going to be a shorter video. Usually these are about an hour long, but I don't have a ton to say this time. Thought I'd talk about a couple of the videos I'm going to try and get done soon. Every time I talk about videos I want to get done, it just never really happens. I have this really bad habit of writing scripts for videos and then never making the video scripts, making the scripts into videos. I don't know exactly what it is. I think that I have this thing where I get really excited and passionate about something, and that's the peak point when I'm learning new stuff about it, where I want to talk about it, but I don't know everything, so I can't make a fully complete and well-rounded video. But then once I've learned everything, the item stops becoming interesting, and it fades away. I put it on a shelf, I don't think about it for a while, and then I don't really want to make the video anymore. And almost all fully written scripts are at the bottom of that interest curve, and I never end up making the videos. I have the scripts written, and I'm like, oh, this is ready to go, but I just don't have it in me to make the video about it. So, I don't know, that's one of those things that I really need to figure out how to work around. It's kind of weird. That's part of why I do all of my videos live rather than scripted. It's just because I have all the passion there when I'm doing it live. It turns out the best. So I've been trying to experiment with voicing over other stuff, like the expansion interface cable video. It's completely voiced over. I was going to do another video completely voiced over about the Radio Shack MC10 for Septandy, but I got the Model 4 torn apart and started having some success repairing it, and then got distracted on that and ran out of time. So, but I don't know. I'll probably do more videos like that in the future at some point. Just try and force myself into it. It worked out recording the footage and then coming up with something to say for the expansion interface video. So I think maybe doing it like that might be a good idea, because my footage is gigantic because I'm recording in 4K, 60 frames per second, high-ish bit rates. I have the camera set fairly low just because I don't have a ton of space to store the footage. But the footage takes up so much space that it's a burden until I can get it processed after I've rendered the video. So anyway, if I have burdensome footage that I need to get edited into a video, I might be more likely to actually get it done. So I might try doing it in that order, which puts the onus on myself to actually finish it. But anyway, some videos I've had ideas for. Since I got the Model 1, I had to learn how to make software for it, and whoa, that is difficult. Some people say that, oh yeah, making TRS-80 software is easy. No, it's like the most difficult software I've had to write to disks. The Commodore PET is cake, because almost all the software was distributed on cassette. So you just play tap files over, say, the data set into the PET, and then if you want to save them to a disk afterwards, it's easy. You just plug in the disk drive and do it. And most people do not have the disk drive for the PET, because they're really, really expensive. The Apple II, there's ADT Pro. Serial file transfers directly to a disk. I think you can write disk images from a PC. That's super easy. It has a way of self-hosting booting onto the Apple II. So that's cake, but you do need a serial card, and my Apple II doesn't have a serial card. The TUI Platinum from LTX. I haven't done any videos on it. It's because it's a bone stock. It's literally exactly how it came out of the box. It did actually come out of the original box. I didn't get the box, unfortunately. It's a little, really, really long story I don't want to get into. Anyway, so I have, like, that doesn't do anything. I have a Laser 128 though, which is an Apple IIc clone, sort of. That has an internal disk drive, serial parallel, I think. But there's some not quite right with the disk drive, and I never got ADT Pro to boot on it off of a disk. I have a disk. Or was I trying to do the serial transfer? I don't remember. Maybe I was trying to boot Protoss. Anyway, that stuff's way easier than the TRS-80 stuff, because the TRS-80 stuff, you get DSKs, you get DMKs, and then you have fixed size or variable size. You have basic files, you have cassette files, there's cassette waves, all this stuff, and they're all, like, depending on which computer you're using, they're all equally likely to be, the software is all equally likely to be in that format, if not multiple. And getting all of that onto physical media that you can use in the computer is a nightmare. So anyway, I did it. I learned how. Oh, another fun thing about the Model 1, to make boot disks, you need a single density capable floppy disk controller. I mean, that's not the fault of the Model 1 or anything. It's just nothing supports that. I lucked out a couple weeks ago, I think, maybe. I bought just this random 3D6 board at a Goodwill. It's one of those later model garbage ones. It's got an SMD 386 on it. I think it's like 25 megahertz or something. Anyway, but there were a couple of ISA cards around with it. I got a floppy IDE GamePort, I think, control card. Anyway, it's an LG or Gold Star Prime 2, and that turned out to be single density. So I was able to make boot disks from the Model 1, which rocks, but making it other stuff sucks. And the way that you make all of these is a nightmare. I found the best way was to use the David Keels, I want to say, TRS-80 Model 1 emulator, and that software, it's just such good software. He also has available for it a supplemental files pack, which allows you to mount real disk drives as virtual disks, and then copy, using something like Super Utility, the disk you want to make onto the physical disk drive, and that's how I've been making most of the disks. So anyway, I wanted to summarize all of the knowledge I've gained for that and make a video about how to do all of that, because I had a rule for doing that, is I'd wanted every single thing you do to be on one computer. Obviously, you have to download new stuff or download files on a new computer, but then put them all onto an old computer, and it can be entirely self-contained. So from a DOS 622 computer, I can write DSKs, DMKs, put CMD files, that's right, CMD files, into DSKs or DMKs, and then write those to real disks. I haven't got to the point where I'm ready to convert basic files or cassette files, but I think that should be possible. I just need to figure out if I can convert those to disk files, or if I'm going to have to play those through the cassette cable on the Model 1. But that should be possible one way or the other. So anyway, I've gone through all this effort, and everything can be done on the DOS PC. You don't need a new computer. You don't need to build disks on a new computer or any of that stuff. So I think I have a new self-contained method for all of that stuff. And I say that because Adrian Black has done a video which was helpful on getting software made for the Model 1, but there's a lot of stuff he didn't cover, like the single density controller for making boot disks, what you need, what it looks like, that kind of thing. Converting the CMD files into DSK files on the same computer you're using to make disks. I really enjoy doing that instead of building stuff on one computer and then doing it again on another computer. And part of it's because the main utility that you can use to put CMD files in a disk image file is TRS Tools, and it's for Windows, obviously. I don't use Windows, so just for that reason alone, I went the DOS route. Anyway, I ramble on about that video. That's going to be a really technical, dry video, but I might try and make it interesting with, like, you know, I don't know. It'll be helpful. That's what the main thing will be is. So yeah, I'm gonna swap this order for these two next ones. Another video I really want to do sometime soon is go back and take a look at how to modify a Dallas clock chip on like a 386 or 486 or something to use a Sierra 2032, but do it my stealthy mod way that I showed in my 486 build video. So I haven't covered that on my channel, and I now have well, I'll have to borrow a computer that needs that done. I know someone who has a computer that needs that done to it, and I'll just use that as the example computer that I'll do the mod to. But I've done both my stealth way and the normal just buzz into the package way, because I had to do that with the 6x86 PC that I took to LTX. So I can show, here's the normal way people do it, here's my way, let's try doing it my way. And I think that would be a useful video for people to try and make the battery work again on their older computers that they need them on. So yeah, that's one thing. It's like a totally unnecessary thing to do it my way, just to make it look better, because the parts are inside the computer. It's not like you ever have to look at them, but still, I think people would enjoy seeing that. Then the last thing would be the newest computer I'd ever talk about on the channel. Here's how I want to introduce it. Back in the Windows XP days, if you ever use the XP Royale theme, you might have wondered where that came from. It was available as a download from Microsoft. I think it's maybe part of the Power Toys stuff, but you could find it out there. Now, it was also called the Media Center theme, usually in the application or the desktop settings area for the appearance. And, you know, I was always curious, you know, like, what would a Media Center PC look like for Windows XP? Well, a while ago, I found one, a Gateway FMC 901, and it's kind of awesome. It would totally blend in with all of this stuff. It's got a metallic brushed front. It's got a VFD display on the front. It runs Windows XP Media Center, obviously. It's got an Audigy 2, a WinTV card, 500 gigs of hard drive space, which I know I put 400 in my Windows 98 machine, but 500 in an XP machine is crazy. So it's pretty jamming, and I think it would be cool to take a look at it. I just have one problem that I need to resolve before I can make a video about it. And oh yeah, and the computer has a remote. I didn't get it with the remote, but I found one on eBay, like by sheer luck. That was crazy. But so yeah, it has a remote for doing like menu navigation, all that stuff. So anyway, I want to do a video on that, but I have a little bit of work. Maybe the tone of the video entirely hinges upon whether or not I can uninstall Windows 7 that someone put on it, because it has a windows.old file or folder with all of the Windows XP Media Center stuff still in the folder, but they installed Windows 7 on top of it, which means that the VFD doesn't work, the tuner card doesn't work. I haven't tested the remote, but it may or may not work depending on whether or not it shows up as a USB keyboard. So none of the cool features that make a Media Center PC work. So it's kind of crippled. If I can recover the original Windows Media Center install, then smooth sailing on the video. If not, then the video becomes writing a driver for the VFD in Linux, because the VFD is connected to the computer over a USB serial bridge to a pretty well documented VFD controller. There's a lot of people out there who've connected that VFD control chip, which is like VT771 or something, I don't remember. But anyway, to Arduinos and stuff. So there might even be Arduino libraries out there. I can just rip out the logic bits I need. So that could be a cool video, and I would really like to get that working, because I've been interested in a Media Center PC to stick in this area for a while now, although I don't actually have the space at the moment. Maybe here, it's pretty tall, it would fill in that space quite well. And then I'd have to take out this really pretty CD player that's, yeah, it's plugged in. This is one of the things that I first demoed 4K footage with, but yeah. I got too many CD players. Way too many CD players. That's also a video idea I've had, just going, how many CD players is too many, and then just showing all of the different CD players I have, because there's so many different kinds. Anyway, that's everything I had in my notes. Just look around briefly, see if there's anything I can think of that I want to do. I got lots of stuff. Oh, like, right here. This is a video that I still need to do. I know I've teased this a couple times now. The flip clock. No, it's not 658. When that worked in the plastic reconstruction video, I was not expecting that. The motor on that needs, I'm not sure what it is. I swear I saw on one clock place, so you're not supposed to lubricate flip clock motors. So I think just cleaned, because sometimes when I plug it in, it doesn't start up. And then I think I've had it seize while it was on before as well. So it's not plugged in. I haven't had it plugged in for over long periods of time since I've had it, which is like just tugging on my heartstrings because it's such a pretty clock. So yeah, I really want to go through that, clean it up, fix it, that kind of thing. I've already tried to clean it up as best I can. Actually, it's got dirt really caked in there. So I could talk about the plastic reconstruction video. That did way better than I thought I was going to. It's approaching 200,000 views now, which is just crazy. I'm getting a lot of comments on that I would rather not. A lot of people think they're clever referring to Scarface. It's making me wish that I could add words to the comment filter to automatically go to spam. for the drug references, because those are getting on my nerves. A lot of people saying I should have used a Dremel, but that part was so small. I wanted to hand file it. Plus, I like working with my hands. Yeah, I was not expecting that video to take off as well as it did. I think I tapped into like a DIY community on YouTube a little bit by accident there. I didn't intend it to be viewed by like normal people. I was just thinking that the vintage computer people should probably be made aware of it. But I may have inadvertently created one of the best videos about that being used for stuff. So I think it might be getting traction for that. I'm not sure, but it keeps picking up and coming down again. So yeah. Yeah. Oh, one thing, speaking of past videos, the DT1 video. So, I will have shown this when I show footage of the Model 4 being on, but the Model 4 I got, since it's a late model, has a green phosphor display. I was not expecting that, just like the DT1. So, I have a green DT1 and a green Model 4, which is kind of cool, because those are both the less common ones. But also, they'll look similar to each other. So, one video I really badly want to make, and this has to be done basically when the Model 4 is fixed, because I don't want to have to use cassettes. But I want to write a clone of Battleship in BASIC on the Model 4 that can connect to the DT1 over serial. My Model 4 does have the RS-232 card, thankfully. And then the Model 4 user and the DT1 user can be facing each other so that they can't see the computers or monitors, and then they can play Battleship over serial between a Model 4 and a DT1. And I just think that would be the coolest thing. Like, I will definitely be taking that to LTX 2020 and setting that up. Because that just seems like way too much fun. So I want to do a video where I do that on the Model 4 just because I think that would be a riot. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to having that Model 4 working and done because it just matches the DT1 so well. So, yeah. Anyway, speaking of that, I should probably go make my cable. I have the connectors and the ribbon cable ready to go. I might make a mail video sometime soon. I'm starting to realize I got a lot of mail stacked up. Let's see, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4 packages right here. There's been some hiding around over there. And I know I have a 5th one somewhere. 5 may not be enough, but some of them I've had for a while. So yeah, although something that I got right here actually is I just picked this up. This is weird. So this is complete in box. It is a thermometer. It's got an indoor and outdoor probe, and it's just kind of cool because it's old and complete, and I like weird old stuff. I'm probably gonna hang this up like right here but higher up and then run the probe out this window. Just be fun. So I got all that stuff going on. Anyway, that's it. I've rambled on enough. Yeah, as always, I'm incredibly thankful for all of the support you guys give me here on Patreon. I really do appreciate it. I know the sponsored videos kind of change that dynamic a bit. If anyone doesn't like that, I'm sorry. I'll say this though about the sponsorships. There's the potential of a recurring sponsorship with PCBWay for I think it's a 10 to 15 second spot that they would like to do twice a month. And the amount that they're offering for that would be enough that I would never do another sponsorship. Like, that would be enough. I would never worry about more sponsorships. So, it's possible that I might not do any more sponsorships after the PCBWay one, depending on how well that goes. So, then I'm really looking forward to getting that video done, because I've had that Coleco Atom forever, and I just haven't been able to use it. And there's a lot of stuff to talk about with the Coleco Atom, and it just never gets any coverage. So, that'll be fun. Although, I don't own an ColecoVision right now, so I might want to try and hunt one of those down or borrow one from someone to do that video, because that would be... Obviously, that's the thing to contrast it to. So, anyway, hope you guys have enjoyed this little look behind the scenes. I got more banjo to learn to play, and I'll see you later.